Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. All hustlers. I'm looking forward to it. I'm loving seeing the chat. Hey, cousin Reggie. I love
What's
that.
going
You
on?
guys give Reggie some love. I am just hyped and excited about that. My Lord. Look at all that love. Greetings from New York City. Thanks, LinkedIn user. For the LinkedIn user, I just said greetings from New York City. Please put your name because it's not coming up. Malcolm, peace and good evening. Amazing. The stream is coming on YouTube as well. He said battery low. I don't know what that means. Hopefully that means your battery's low, not mine. But I want to just welcome everybody to the GI Factor. You know, just like all the trails that Reggie has blazed. Let me tell you something. Do you know this is the very first edition of GI Factor? And so when Reggie told me about his book, you know, this is something I've been wanting to do. Season's greetings, AJ, blast from the past. You know, this is something I've been wanting to do. I love interviewing folks, and so we get the opportunity to spend some time with a guy that has had a tremendous um, career in the Air Force. He's gone from designer to DJ. You know, he's been a respected and revered corporate expert and consultant, and you know, as well as a recruiter. But most of all, he has a heart for God and a passion for leadership and excellence. And I just want to welcome you, Reggie. Thank you.
Thank you, GI.
Let me put you up here and see if I can get you on the screen. Hold on a minute. Here we go. Let's see if we can get us on the screen. Because right now, let me take this banner down,
Okay.
and because I want people to see your amazing face. There we
There
go.
we are.
There we are, both of us. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? You looking
I'm,
good.
oh, thank you. You're so kind. You're so kind. My brother, you know, he's generous with those words. Reggie, tell us a little bit just about yourself. We're going to get started. Welcome all hustlers, all those with the hustler spirit, even if you don't like it. If you have achieved excellence, you got the hustler spirit. But go ahead, Reggie.
So first of all, thank you for having me and happy holidays to everybody as we are in December and winding down this 2022. About me, I come from the streets of Philly, the hood, the projects. Some people call it the ghetto. And back in the day, you had no choice but to get your hustle on. So everything was a hustle. You could be 5 years old out there and you needed that ice cream and you needed to get out there and hustle. And so that's how I got my start. I learned how to wash windows on cars for 25 cents, turned it into a window washing business, when washing houses. I ended up DJing. Everybody always asks me, so why did you become a DJ? I'm like, DJs had, money, power, respect, and the ladies. And so, back in the day, that's what I wanted to do. But I became a DJ, a fashion designer. But I tell people the fashion designer was the after byproduct of just wanting to have clothes that I could wear. I couldn't afford clothes, so I had to learn how to make them. And if I can make them for myself, I can make them for everybody else. And so that was the hustle. And then finally, ended up in New York and learned how real hustlers get their hustle on. And ultimately ended up in the military, enlisted an officer, and retired from the Air Force and went to KPMG, where that's one of the big four firms out there, and learned a lot about the corporate world through them. I was on a global role, so I also learned how folks got their hustle on worldwide. And then once I retired from there, I went to the Department of Commerce. Of course, that's where the money is, right? And the United States is definitely all about commerce. And when I left there, I went back into the corporate world to become director of business capture, which is sales, BD, hustling every day, all day. And when I finally sat down and thought about it while on vacation, I said, if I can do this for everybody else, I should be able to do it for myself. So I decided to hang my own shingle, get out there, be a keynote speaker, published author, executive leadership coach, and just get my own hustle on. That's
Hey,
where I'm at.
hey, and I'm loving that because, you know, I'm all about the hustle. I think everybody should have their own business. And it's clear to me from the very, very early age, you have been entrepreneurial in spirit. So, kind of tell me the motivation behind, this hustle and why this book and why right now.
So initially, the book Father, the Son, the Guide Growing Up in a Difficult World I wrote was a 56,000 word letter that turned into a book for my son. And the book became for everybody else. So I was actually over the years saying, okay, he's a grown man now. What can I share with him? And then I thought about my daughter. I'm like, that's unfair. I'm writing a book for my son. I have a daughter, so it needs to be applicable for both of them. And they're both entrepreneurs, have their own businesses. And then I started thinking about all my friends who I have conversations with. And basically, I get my hustle on, and I wanted to share with others the opportunity for them to get their hustle on. Of course, everybody doesn't even understand it. We're living in a different time, a different world. Some people are privileged, some people feel entitled, but at some point in their life, they're going to need to get their hustle on. So I decided to write this book so that it's applicable to anybody and everybody, and not just my two children. And therein lies how the title came about.
Wow. Well, you know, you got a lot of love in the chat. If you see it on the screen,
Can't
Shanae
see
and
anything.
hey,
Oh,
hey, Patricia. So you sent a chat to me. This is on the public
hey,
side.
I see Sinead Bullock on there. She says, "This is awesome." That's my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. Nothing like a daughter's love. I've heard a lot about you, Shanae. So, um, you talked about your motivation and why the book now. And it was timely that Shanae joined because you were like, "Look, I got to do it not only for my son but for my daughter." Would you honor us with your amazing DJ voice? Maybe just tell us a little bit, in your own voice, read the book, give folks a little taste, nothing like a little appetizer to,
My DJ
um,
voice.
yeah, I love that voice. Now, those of us, some of us can just close our eyes and, just listen to music, and a great DJ will make everything all right. So cousin Reggie says he was a DJ and a fashion leader as well.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mentioned that a little earlier, cousin Reggie, that he went from DJ to designer, and he's still a designer of excellence. That's
Thank
what a
you.
hustler does. So go ahead, and if you would share, just close your eyes and put your finger in the book and give us a little taste.
All right. So it's all about the hustle. I'm gonna figure something out here. Tell you what. Chapter two, intelligence. I'll start there. Page 34, to 35, just about 3 minutes, if that's okay. And I'll try to use my DJ voice, right? All right. So you put some glasses on, I'm getting old. If hustling to eat was taught in school, many students in school would not just show up to occupy a seat, they would show up hungry to gain the information and translate it into the intelligence for tangible purpose. This is where I get a bit controversial. Who are the examples of intelligence the students are looking up to? I grew up in the streets of Philadelphia, so my intelligence examples were different from what the societal norm and the American culture expected me to follow. Still, it was my reality. The examples I was presented with that translated to successfully using intelligence for tangible and practical purposes were not what I was taught in school. When you have to eat with government assistance, lunch tickets, food stamps, and other subsidized programs, learning about Christopher Columbus and George Washington, or even Mendelian genetics, will not help me or my family eat. In my world, it was all about the hustle. The only intelligence that mattered was what helped me to get my hustle on. To some extent, it is still my focus. What's the purpose of the information I'm supposed to receive? What good is it? I started sewing at age 12 because my mother couldn't afford to buy me clothes. I wanted nice clothes. I wanted to look good. I wanted to have the respect that other people had when they wore nice clothes. However, most of what I was learning in school was not allowing me to have nice clothes. Therefore, I used my time learning how to sew instead of doing my homework. That intelligence translated into me later becoming a tailor, receiving acceptance into and graduating from Fashion Institute of Technology, and becoming a fashion designer. I made lots of money, had fun, learned a lot, met so many amazing people, and fed my family as a result of the intelligence I gained in the fashion industry. It continues to serve me well many years after first learning how to thread a needle, set up a bobbin, design and cut patterns, and hand stitch a garment. It would have been good to have been taught a class on strategy at a young age instead of classes that are not serving me any purposes now. When it's all about the hustle, it's crystal clear what the requirement is. I need what I need to do what I want. Did you catch that the first time? I need intelligence to eat. I need intelligence to buy fabric notions and a sewing machine so that I can eat and look nice. It's that simple.
Well, invent, um, necessity is the mother of all inventions. That's what I'm trying to say. And so when you think about,
Hey, Mom.
because you had to, are you getting a feedback?
No, I just said, hey, Malcolm.
Oh, okay. Um, so because you had to and I know we've had a couple of conversations about this and about certain portions of the book, that it was out of necessity. You didn't feel there was any other option. And can you talk about a little bit about how the emotion and what kicks in when there are no other options?
Fear is one thing, right? Fear is a motivator.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, I remember waking up, we had an oil furnace, and there was no oil in the furnace in December, on the 25th of December
Wow.
in Philadelphia, freezing when we woke up. So we're standing in front of the stove because it was gas, trying to just stay warm. I think we were probably 7, 8 years old. My mom doing the best she can, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, what can I do?
Hey,
What can
wait a
I
minute,
do?
Reggie. Some people are saying your mic is low. Um,
Really?
can you increase the volume? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow, but I want them to hear what you're saying. Is it
All right.
possible for you to
Test, test, test. Can y'all hear me now?
what about
Test.
now?
All right. Is this much clearer?
Oh, there you go.
All right. Good catch. That's all right. As a DJ, we normally do sound checks, so sorry about that. But anyway, the point is, growing up poor and having certain circumstances, the fear of not having heat in the house, the fear of freezing, the fear of not being able to eat, the fear of going to school and just being ridiculed because you wore the same pair of pants for 5 days straight, right? That motivates you to change your circumstances. And in the hood, you have to do it. Hey, Rico. All
So they
right.
say much better. Thank you. I
Hey,
apologize. That's my fault.
thanks,
Um,
Patricia. Philly girl. She's a hustler.
is she? It is so awesome that all of these folks are here to celebrate you. I'm trying to hold back a cough. Sorry, y'all. Um, I would like to ask you if you could think about anything during your hustle that you would have done differently. Anything is a different strategy, different approach,
um,
timing.
so one of the things I didn't know when I was younger is it's not just what you know, but who you know to get you where you want to go. And I had no knowledge of the relationship strength. And I just never knew that you needed to deliberately cultivate relationships. You needed to meet the right people. You needed to be strategic about your actions in order to put you in the room where it happens. I didn't even know there was a room, let alone a room where it happened. And so if I could do something different, I think I would have cultivated the relationships a lot better. In my book, I think I talk about when I was at Leviticus International, I was a DJ, and there were just so many stars that came through there. I mean, I met Rick James, Tina Marie, Stephanie Mills, Temptations. I met, Arista Records and Motown people.
And I was just a DJ, so I was just there to get on the turntables, do my thing, and leave, right? But I probably should have had business conversations with them. I probably should have learned a little bit more about their story, possibly even got their phone numbers to follow up and even be mentored by them. I had so many of those types of opportunities. I just didn't know that that's what I needed to do. So in hindsight, man, I could have been a music mogul, right? I came across so many people and they knew who I was. I just didn't take advantage of it because I didn't know that I needed to. And therein lies where mentorship comes in, because you don't always know everything and you have other people to guide you. When I was younger, also, someone that's on here now, her dad was like the ultimate hustler. I mean, this dude, I used to get a check from one of my clients, window washing, for maybe $100, and I would go to him and he would just cash it for me. He said, just endorse it. I didn't even know what endorse meant, but he would cash it for me and give me the cash. I thought that was so cool. A man walking around like a bank. I said, I wanted to be like that. The point is, there were so many opportunities for me to learn how to do, and I just missed the opportunity. I didn't know I needed to learn that.
I apologize. I'm over here trying to get this cough in check. Somebody said, "Bring me a drink." Well, there's nobody here but me, so that's all. So, but I appreciate it, Ashley. Listen, so when you think about sometime when you're hustling, you talk, also in the book you talk about focus and about eliminating distractions, and so many times I know when I'm hustling, I'm so focused on the end goal, right, of getting to where I think I need to get, that the things you mentioned about having those business discussions, having, thinking about how could I expand this, are very important. And you also mentioned in the book about how, had you had those decisions, um, the Reggie Bullock we know now may be very different. He might have an office, a music major music producing company, and I know you're still doing that. So is any of that in the horizon? I know when I say music, you just light up like you just had another baby or another son. It's part of you.
Yes, it's in horizon. So the two things, right? It's a two-part question. First of all is the focus. You have to focus. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. And I try to maximize them because, in my opinion, that's not enough time for me to get done what I need to get done. So all of the extraneous distractions that come into my world, they don't know what I'm trying to do. They don't know I need 72 hours in a day to get things done. They don't know my laundry list of to-dos. They just want what they want. And they want to talk to me. Your mic's hot. I heard you cough.
Oops, sorry.
and so, for them, I get it. But sometimes I have to do what I have to do because nobody's going to do it but me. And therein lies where I just block them all out. So that's focus, right? And then the end state. I want to achieve something. Whatever it is I want to achieve it now, not 3, 4, 5 years from now. And if I have barriers and things, hey, Graham, that are in my way, then I'm not going to get it done. Now, some of the things I achieve, the byproduct is helping other people. I'm able to mentor folks. I'm able to help people because of what I have achieved, what I've done, what I've learned. But I'm not going to be able to help them if I don't do that. And if I allow those distractions to get in my way and prevent me from doing that, then we all lose. So I have no choice but to get my hustle on. In terms of what's on the horizon, I always have things going on. I'm trying to put together this album. It's going to be like 25 tracks, and I'll produce it and put it out there. But I want it out before February because it's spiritual. As a matter of fact, the title of the album will be The Negro Spirit. And basically, I researched a lot of the songs in the 1800s that are all about African-American slavery, getting from Tennessee to Canada, and just the struggle and the survival of them getting their hustle on to live. And most of those songs I never heard before. So if I never heard them before, and I'm a DJ, most other people have never heard them before. And I think that it's relevant to the content of the lyrics to people to hear that. So I'm working on that. I'm also working on another book, Becoming the Best Version of Yourself. I'm in the middle of writing it now, and sometime in the spring, before the summer, hopefully it'll be published and out there. And I'm working on building my business, right? I'm a keynote speaker, and I have an agent, Willeen Dunn, and we are building the pipeline for 2023. So talk about hustle, I got to eat, right? So I'm doing what I
Absolutely. For hustlers, that's what it's all about. It's about, I got to eat.
Right.
It's feast or famine. You
Right.
know, there is no other choice, right? You know, you said something that was very powerful about the potential album, and I hope you'll come back, especially since, you know, that you're the first on the GI Factor, and we're hoping to build out the list of other
Hey,
leaders.
Norma. Sorry about that.
No,
That's
no worries.
Big Mama just popped up. That's my cousin. We call her
Okay.
Big Mama.
Okay. Hey, Miss Norma, how you
She
doing?
tell the stories about, you know, about me.
Well, I'm sure you probably learned a thing or two from her. I'm just saying.
Definitely.
But when you were talking about the Negro spirituals, that really, my first time hearing this, ladies and gentlemen. But you know, much of what drove us, what kept us going through those difficult times, was music, were beats, were sounds, and I think it's just a natural progression as the, you know, the DJ. And I would call you a Renaissance man. I'm just saying, you know, a man of all things, you know, fashion, music, you know, books, author. I'm just saying.
Thanks,
That's a natural progression, and I think that's just going to be an amazing you know, effort. And so the other thing I want to ask about, this is your third book.
Yes.
And you're already working on another book and an album.
Yes.
So do you have a methodology for writing your book?
Yes.
Or books, I should say, plural. Would you mind sharing that? You know, I believe, and I think you do too, that everybody should write a book. If you don't tell your story, somebody else is going to tell it, or it's going to go untold. So just share with us, because I need a little inspiration. I need a little guidance. I need a little push. And tell us about how you approach both, you know, both not only just mentally and getting your mindset right, but then what is your strategy for how you go about the process, and then what's the average time for it?
So back to focus mentally and getting my mindset right. I have this ability to just come up with an idea and execute. And I talk about the ability to vision, strategize, and execute, period, right? So we all can do that, but you have to do that. I call it doing the doing. So therein lies some self-discipline that's needed. Now, in terms of my strategy for writing the book, first thing I do is lock in on the body of information that I want to talk about and consider myself extremely knowledgeable about. I don't want to just talk about anything. I'm not trying to do a PhD research paper on something I don't know. I want to talk about what I know about. And I know that I know that I know. Because then that energy and that passion will also come out of you as you're writing. And then step two, you know, I think about it daily. I mean, I think about the hustle every single day until it begins to reveal itself to me in different categories. Because if you think about your hustle, there are different categories, right? There are those who are hairstylists, and there are those who do nails and makeup. There are those who are barbers and sell stuff and whatnot. So I think about the different categories and what drives those categories. And then I outline as many chapter headings as I can think of that might fit the format. It's all about the hustle. Now, the chapters could be 20, 30, 40, 50 different chapters, right? You can always do loop and group and quick kills later on, just like in brainstorming. But the point is, you have to get it out of your system. It's a brainstorming type of process. And then I start writing the chapters based on the words and the paragraphs that come to my mind. You know, so if the chapter is your brand, all right, what does brand mean? And what does the context of it mean? And it's all about the hustle. What does intelligence mean? I mean, my chapter leadership and the chapter responsibility took on a whole different world of its own. I think I wrote 30 pages on the chapter responsibility. I had no clue that was going to happen. And so to that extent, I embrace the writing journey and allow myself to be consumed by the journey.
Hmm.
You know, it's kind of like I hike a lot, right? So when I'm hiking, I have no idea what I'm going to see. One time I went hiking and I saw a mountain lion, right?
What?
Another time I went hiking, I saw bobcats, right? Of course, I see bear and deer all the time. But the point is, you don't know what you're going to see. When you go out there just before sunup, you have no idea what the sunup is going to look like until it happens. And so when you're writing, I just embrace the journey and allow myself to be consumed in the journey. And, you know, it's not an academic exercise. It's a journey. And then once I have written enough, I read the book and, you know, for content and continuity and see if I actually like what I wrote, right? Because sometimes you read stuff and you're like, that ain't gonna work. You know. And then after that, I do a lot of rewrites and edits. I share it with about 2 or 3 readers to get their feedback. And then is the publishing process, which is a whole different world besides writing. So that's my process. I will say this, in the book, Becoming the Best Version of Yourself, I do know right now, I pinned chapter 9 is going to teach how to write your own book.
Well, you know, I thought about you. It's not funny you said that, but I thought about you when I saw someone doing a class on write your business book in 5 days.
5 days? Okay, well, that's their hustle, right? And so 5 days. All right, so you know, full
It was
disclosure.
a business book. It was a business book. So
I
maybe
get
they're
it.
taking, I don't know. I didn't sign up on it for it, but it was, you know, on Facebook, and I thought about you and I said, Reggie could do that. You know, so you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're on that game show where they said, can you name that song
Name
and
that tune.
know that tune in, you know,
3 seconds.
three. So maybe they're naming it in 3, and maybe it's you know, the song is very simple, but you know, you're going to name it in 10 because of the complexity of what you're trying to do. So I just thought that was you know, quite interesting. Somebody said let's see, what is a hustle? Many have likes and passions but don't think of them as hustle. What makes it a hustle?
That's Dr. Monet Sifford.
Oh, hey, Dr. Monet.
She always has good questions. What makes it a hustle? So the desire, the drive, your internal spirit to do it, right? So Monet, you can put me on blast. I'll blast you back, right? You're internal medicine and you went to school, lots of schools. You're from Baltimore. You got your hustle on, right? And so here you are from then to now, the things that, you know, you have done, the amount of studying you had to do, the late nights, and even still, I'm not going to tell anybody where you work now, but the point is, you know, and you're a speaker too, right? So the hustle is that internal drive where you maximize your time, your energy to achieve that objective no matter what. It's that tenacious attitude, that passion that just makes you go get it, right? And so, you know, I almost said something, but she, you know, I don't want to put Monet out there on blast. She also was born on the same day I was born. And we have similar characteristics about ourselves. And so Monet is tenacious and will get out there and get that thing done. And so that's the hustle. But the other part about it is, why do you do it, right? What's that why that's driving you? You know, as a husband, a father, or a wife, or, you know, a provider, you have to do these things. So that's what makes the difference in a hustle. Back in the day, I used to shoot pool. And why did I shoot pool? Because I needed to get money. So, you know, you're mastering that game. So there are many different dimensions of it. Anyway, hope that answered your question, Monet. I'll see you on Monday. You can ask me more.
You know, and when you were talking about that drive, you said drive so many times, and I'm very visual, right? I was thinking of those cars where you have the ability, you know, you're in park and drive, neutral, reverse. So I probably have that in the wrong order. But then there's this little slot that where you can shift over and go into sport mode, right? And then you can, where you can maximize each gear. And so as you were talking about drive, what makes you switch over to, that sport mode? Because you can't tell me you're in sport mode all the time because you take too many vacations. I'm not trying to tell you that. I'm just
saying. You should see what I do on vacations, right? I get my writing done and I go fishing and I'm busy. But I think your point about the sport mode and when do you shift gears and all of that, there's that up and down, right? Kobe did not go to the gym every single day at 3 a.m. to practice, but he went to the gym every day at 3 a.m. more than everybody else, right? And so as I'm getting my hustle on to do the things that I do, I also am reminded that it's competitive out there. So, you're in government contracting, right? And so what's the difference between winners and losers? Winners are doing the things that losers just don't want to do. So when I come up with these things, I could just sit around and say, all right, this is going to take about 3 months to get done. Or I could be laying in bed saying, I'll get to it about 9 or 10 o'clock. But that spirit inside of me, that drive, say, get your butt up right now and just get it done. And so I get up and I get it done. So you have that internal instinct, that drive. And when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And when you're winning, it's just that attitude of wanting to win more.
Here we go. We're going down a whole nother track now. When you're winning, you feel it. And I think Malcolm, thank you, Malcolm. It's the pivots, the curves, and the straightaways. When
That's
you're driving
true.
that car. And so I said, that's why I said, thank you, Malcolm. Love it. Because it brought me to a interview question that I ask everybody that I hire. You know what that is? And I'm going to ask you.
You never hired me.
I know, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
All right.
You're on the Autobahn. You're in Europe. There's no speed limit.
Autobahn 6 near Kaiserslautern going to Wiesbaden.
Yep. Yep. And how long is that stretch? I can't remember because it's been a long time.
Miles. I mean,
is it like 20 miles, 30 miles, 50 miles? What would you say?
At least 30 kilometers.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot kilometers. So you're on that stretch of road, close your eyes. Imagine, what car are you driving? How fast are you going and why?
So this is real, right? When my son got his MBA, I took him to Europe for a graduation present and got a BMW 4 Series stick shift, whatever, and got him on Autobahn. Uh-huh. And so when it's the straightaway, there are a lot of fast cars. I don't want none of them catching me. And so, over there, it is illegal for you to be in the left lane going too slow. And if somebody hits you in your rear, you're at fault for being too slow.
We need to make that rule in the US, but anyway.
So I get on there and I'm driving, but Germany is wet a little bit, right? So when you come across those curves, you slow down, take a breather, drive respectfully. Yeah. And then when you see that 6-lane highway straightaway come back and all you got is nothing but front, then you put the pedal to the metal and you get your hustle on.
How fast are you going? Because there's no speed limit. What limit are you comfortable? What speed limit are you comfortable?
So there's 2 speeds, right? It's not a number. It's you go as fast as you want to go, but as fast as you can handle the car. Because when you have an accident in Germany, it's 15, 20, 30 cars at the same time. Wow. So you go fast as you want to go, but at some point, if your car starts to shimmy or you're like, oh, I'm at 130 miles an hour right now. This is crazy. Think I'll back off. Because if you have an accident, you're not coming back from it.
What car are you driving though?
Now, my car?
No, what car are you driving? Your dream car? Any car? What car are you driving on that Autobahn? Come on now.
My car I currently have, my Tesla S model, the fastest car that you can buy, legally.
Yeah.
It's it's a bad car. Some people call it a plaid.
Yeah, Michael, the Autobahn is a road without limits in Germany. That's what it's called, the Autobahn. It's a stretch of highway without limits. So, and somebody else said, "Hey, you all put what car are you driving if there's no speed limit, and how fast are you going?" And so now that you said there's time, that feeling, right, that you just mentioned, I think this is important for hustlers because I can speak for myself. I only know two speeds, my husband says, 0 and Mach 1. I don't know anything in between. So having said that, um, when I get that feeling that you're talking about, that okay, I'm getting to the limit, what do you do?
I go on vacation. I mean, I go fishing. I go hiking. I I'll DJ, right?
Mhm,
I'll
mhm,
shift
mhm,
gears.
mhm.
So
Mm,
I'll go I'll go in my studio and maybe I'll go on live Facebook and say, all right, I'm DJing bounce music, hip hop, R&B, disco, jazz,
mhm,
whatever, rock and
mhm,
roll.
mhm.
Just get in a different zone and have fun. I have a hammock out in my backyard. Sometimes I'll lay in the hammock and read a book, right? But the point is, I shift gears, to use your analogy of having being a fast car, right? I'll shift
Mhm.
gears until I feel it's time to shift back or shift differently.
Right, right. And I think that's important. And part of that, would you agree, is about knowing yourself and what indications um, tell you that it's time to get back on the road and, you know, put the pedal to the metal.
Knowing yourself is important. Everybody
Mhm,
doesn't know themselves. It took me a
mhm,
while to get there. It took me many years to really learn myself and know who I
mhm,
am.
mhm,
What allows me to know it's time to get back? Partly my long list, right? I have those little post-its.
mhm.
I have one that's like 3 feet long and
Wow,
it sticks on the
wow.
wall, like butcher paper that sticks on the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Also on my Outlook, I have the notes section and the calendar section. So when I go and look at the stuff that I've written down as my goals and objectives and vision and strategy, it's like a con ops, right? Concept of operation. It's time to pull that thing
Right,
off the shelf
right.
and get busy. Because here's the deal. Time is the one thing you never get back once it's gone. We
True.
lost a lot of people during COVID who had a laundry list of things that they wanted to do, and they didn't get it done. And I'm
Mhm,
mindful that I'm 60 years old and I have less years in front of me than I do behind me. But I have
mhm,
a long laundry list of stuff that I need to get done. So
mhm,
if I'm just chilling, right, in the wrong gear, and all of this stuff is not going to get done unless I do it.
mhm,
All right,
mhm.
time to shift gears and get back in gear.
It's funny you say that because I woke up on my 60th birthday and God said to me, no matter how you look at it, you're in the second half. You're in the fourth
Mm-hmm,
quarter. And
mm-hmm.
I love football, so I use a lot of football analogies. He said, every day, get up and run as fast as you can, go get as much done as you can, impact as many people as you can, take it to the house, get as many touchdowns as you can, because you never know when I'm going to blow the whistle. And
That's a
so
fact.
I think we share that similar passion. I need to add to my post-it, kind of list. I do mine in PowerPoint slides, pictures, things I want to do. Kind of people do vision boards. What do you think the importance of vision? And I want to go back and focus. We talked about it in the context of a car and seeing what's in front of us, beside us, around us. But I want to kind of talk about, how do you zone in and maintaining that focus when you're on your grind?
So in the military, we have strategic, operational, tactical, right? so
Mhm,
so I get real tactical and specific. You know, a goal has to meet the SMART criteria, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, trackable, whatever it is, the new ones now. But the point is, you have to be able to see the end state. You got to know what it looks like when it's done. And it's kind of like having a picture of a food that you're cooking or a cake or whatever. You need to know what that looks like. And that's your vision. And to stay focused on that is required, because each day you wake up or do something, you can either be getting closer to that vision being achieved or nowhere near it. And if you always reset and assess where you are, then you know that you're getting closer and closer. I was in aircraft maintenance all my life, so the bottom line is these fighter jets got to take off. We have very little room for error. I was also in weapons. You have zero room for error. So if I need to load an F-16 with 6 missiles and guns and all of that, and I need to do it in 16 minutes because it needs to leave in an hour, that's absolute. So from a hustling perspective and achieving things, I kind of look at it in an absolute. I'm not wishy-washy about it. I don't sit there like some people, when they're asking me, well, what about this? And look, this is what we're going to do. Start time 6 o'clock. Your talking is wasting my time right now because now we only have 15 minutes instead of an hour. So you're dismissed because I'm about to get focused because you're not. So everybody doesn't have that ability to get focused. And when they don't, all right, that's your choice. But your choice is not going to impact my choice because I'm going to get this thing done. I'm going to win. I'm going to achieve. So it's a mindset.
That's key. I think that's key. I think that, if I were to sum up the definition of a hustler, it is the words you just said. I'm going to win. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to move forward. And I've gotten a little bit kinder and gentler now, but back in the day, I'd say move, lead, follow, and get the hell out of the way. Yes, yeah. I'm gonna win. Yes. Yeah. And some people, take that the wrong way, like, well, excuse me. And I tell people I want to take as many people with me. I know you're like that too. You have a servant heart, you're a servant leader, you're a great leader of your family, your community, and anybody that's in your sphere is that, would know that you're a force multiplier, right? Just the sheer hustle energy. If you're in your, stratosphere and they come in that circle, they're getting taken in. Like me, I did not plan to do this last month. I got wrapped up into the Reggie hustle, force, right? And here I am. And those of you who know Reggie know how convincing he is, what a man of excellence he is, and how you just want to be part of it and you want to help him win because, when you help him, you're going to win. So, it's an honor for me to spend this time with you. I do want to give you an opportunity, if you want to read another excerpt. And then after that, we're going to take some questions. Hey, what's up, Chief Snotty? Let me tell you, you want to talk about a hustler. This guy right
what's
here.
Up, Chief?
I'm telling you, I have known him since he was a young staff sergeant. He is amazing. Oh, by the way, he's into the martial arts too, so you might want to connect with him. Y'all share that. And, yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. I'm looking in the book. How about, in case anybody has the book, chapter 11, motivation, page 153. It's short. Calvin, what's up, Dr. Calvin T. Wilson? You are exactly like Calvin's my best friend. He's known me more than anybody else. He has all of the secrets and the keys to the locks.
What's up, Calvin? We need to talk, Calvin. I'm going to send you a link, Calvin, and let you come to the stage. I want you to tell all the secrets.
Calvin's my boy. He actually was with me when I was writing this book. So chapter 11 is motivation, right? And then the section is have control. Saying it's all about the hustle is more than just words. It's an internal motivational affirmation. To only say it's all about the hustle allows you to be in deep reflection, to think about all the possibilities that can materialize from your hustle. To only think about it may even trigger those same endorphins as what happens when you dream about what you would buy or what you would do when you win the lottery. Thinking about your hustle feels good, but thinking is not the same as motivation. Thoughts should translate into motivation, and motivation should translate into action. When you are motivated to take action, you have what it takes to get your hustle on. You have control over your motivation. You have control over your hustle. So take control and get your hustle on.
Get your hustle on. That's why I said this is for hustlers only. I think anybody, in my opinion, would you agree with this and answer this? If someone has had a consistent track record of excellence and success, would you say they're a hustler?
Not necessarily.
Why not?
So, because hustlers fail all the time. We make mistakes. I mean, the reason why I know so much is because I screwed it up so many times, right? So I learned from those mistakes. You don't learn a lot from getting everything right all of the time. You learn from getting back up and getting on the horse. You learn from dusting yourself off. You learn from basically all of those mistakes and failures and things. You know, I'm a parent, right? And there's no real book out there that's going to allow you to start off at the time a child is born to they're 18 and older and never get it wrong. You're going to get it wrong. And you become a good parent by the time you become a grandparent, then you look back on it. So it's the same analogy towards life, right? Hustlers don't get it right all of the time. They don't even achieve their real status until they have earned it. And you don't earn it until you've been bumped, bruised, knocked down, going through the ringer, because then you find out what you're made of. You don't know what you're made of until you go through it.
Yes.
And so hustlers know. Anybody on this that's a real hustler, they know. Business owners, they know. They had to cash in their insurance policy and take out a loan and everything else, and just to make payroll. I mean, they know. Yeah. There's nothing pretty about that process.
401k. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And then you're right there at that gap, like, man, Lord, I sure hope you got something for me. I need that revenue now. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, but the difference between a hustler is they realize where there is high risk, there's high reward. And I think that you know, yes, there's been failure, but the success has been that you learned from what you failed at, right? And you didn't just learn, you then went and executed in a different way, because you said it before, if you keep doing what?
If you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got, right? So that's you know, insanity.
And I think I think your creative design and your design background has allowed you to design systems. You probably may not realize it, or maybe you do, systems of success as part of your hustle. You know, you automatically, you don't have to go to a book and say, what do I do next? No. Your life,
wake up.
Exactly. That's right. Your life and what you've learned along the way has done that. So if you've got questions, please put them in the chat. I would love to get some. Ooh, this is a long one. What did he say? Hey, Bill. Bill said, I appreciate this. I am glad I stumbled on it. I follow GI anywhere. Oh, thank you. I spent a lot of time with veteran entrepreneurs. I make everyone follow and our mantra and 3 rules of success: follow up, follow up, follow up. And that kind of defines hustling. Yeah, because there's opportunity everywhere, right? It's whether or not you're going to follow up. Michael Smith says, thank you for that, Bill. Is there a difference between motivation and inspiration?
Yeah. So motivation is that dopamine inside you that causes you to do, right? It definitely causes you to get out there. And I mean, here's an analogy. You know, when you see something that you want, whatever it may be, you are motivated to go after it and get it. Now, the inspiration piece is the feel good piece, right? You know, you are inspired by external things, but it doesn't necessarily motivate you to go get that thing. So the inspiration kind of wakes you up, makes you feel good, lets you know that you're in the game. But the motivation is, you know, you executing that play. So
Wow.
that's the energy. That's the energy.
And you know, you can feel that energy when you encounter someone who's a hustler, who's moving, who's progressive. Uh, Miss Norma says your Aunt Mary believed that some people thrive as a queen bee while others thrive as worker bees. How does this affect each of their hustles?
Well, Aunt Mary was her mother, and God rest her soul. And Mary was with my mother's sister, and
Wow.
they were queen bees, right? And so
Mhm.
they were queen bees, and Norma and I were worker bees. and, and we and we grew up on a farm too, so we know how to do that work. But as you get older, all of that worker bee um, can allow, or if you will, the cream to come to the top, right? Not every worker bee is going to be a queen bee.
Mhm. Mhm.
So at some point, like Norma, you know, Norma was a worker bee. Now she's, you know, one of the matriarchs of our family, right? She's a queen
Wow.
bee. But
Wow.
it took many years to get there, a lot of time and energy, and she still mentors me. So
Mm.
each of their hustles are required. It's like being on a team. You got the quarterback, the running back, wide receiver, you know, the center. Everybody technically is a worker bee, but at any given point, a leadership requirement may be made for each of them, right? At one point, the quarterback is the leader, but once he lets that ball go, he's no longer a leader. It's the person that's
True.
catching that.
True.
And so
True.
it affects your hustle based on your role. Play your part. Play your
Hmm.
part.
Hmm. Chris Smith, thank you, Miss Norma. Thank you, Malcolm. Chris Smith said, "Do you consider a hustler the same as a mover and shaker?" I'm late. Maybe you answered that. Hey, Chris,
No,
what's up, lady?
so yes, they can be, right? So they're not the same. A hustler is not a mover and shaker, and a mover and shaker is not a hustler.
Wow,
But
why not?
the well, because they're just two different things. A mover and shaker just, I mean, that could be an illusion, right? I mean, there's so many leaders out there that we consider movers and shakers, and they
Imposter,
don't know nothing.
imposter, imposter
Right,
alert.
right. So it's a perception that they're movers and shakers. But a hustler, there is no doubt. They execute, they achieve, they win. I mean, you got a lot of football play teams and basketball teams that are, you know, ranked real low, right? But they're still football, and they think they're great. And they out there
Yeah,
moving and shaking and juking.
yeah,
They doing that, but they ain't winning. So
yeah.
this the hustlers who are doing the things that the losers don't. I'm not calling movers and shakers losers, because I'm a mover and shaker to others. I don't see myself as a mover and shaker.
Bam!
It's a
There,
label.
there it is.
I think it's a label that other people may put on me. But I know I'm a hustler.
Yeah,
That I know. Mover and
yeah.
shaker. All right, call me what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
feel
it
the
is.
same way. I feel the same way, and I find, as a self-proclaimed hustler, the only person I'm competing against is myself. And when I complete that thing, I don't spend but maybe a blink going, yeah, that's okay. How do I outdo it? How do I make it better next time? Who can I serve it up to in a higher form? Um, and so people, and it's kind of a fault when you're leading people because they want to celebrate and they want to go, yeah, yeah, he, ha, ha. And I'm already on the next thing. I'm like, let's move on. Let's not, I hate the words, it's good enough. I hate the words, that's enough. There is no, my standard is always changing. And I think you're like this too. And I think because of your experiences, the way you take time out to renew your mind and your spirit are really key to why you keep rediscovering and reinventing yourself. So now I know that you've got this book. Tell us how it's doing on the Amazon ranking. And then I want to ask you a question. Who's your favorite author?
Okay.
or you can give me 2 or 3 that inspired you or inspire you. But first, tell us what the ranking is on Amazon, and then some other authors.
So last time my agent Willing Dunn communicated with me, it is at the top 10. So it is trending as a bestseller, top 10. Thank you. For those of you who have the book, please
Let's
go to
give
Amazon.
Reggie some love in the chat. Awesome. What
So
category?
please go to
What
Amazon,
category?
write a review. Excuse me.
What category?
I don't know. She keeps up with that. I'm so
Okay.
focused on, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I just do the work. It's kind of like when you're scoring points, you don't try to figure out how many points you score. You just want to get that next one. Right?
Yeah, true,
so that's kind of where my head is for now. And she'll tell me when the time comes. But I do say, please, first of all, thank everybody for buying the book. It would not be where it's at without you. And if you read the book, and even if you don't, go on Amazon and leave a review, if you will. My favorite authors, ooh. So Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, was a powerful book that changed my level of awareness. The autobiography of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are two. And the reason why I say that is because I grew up dyslexic and illiterate. So it wasn't until I was 21, 20 that I actually read a book cover to cover because I couldn't really read, right? So Dr. Martin Luther King's autobiography was the first book I ever read cover to cover. And I learned so much.
Can you repeat? Somebody asked, can you repeat that author?
Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. He's back with Carter G. Woodson, right? And so it's those types of books that I say are my favorite because they helped me to discover me. And the autobiography of Martin Luther King and the autobiography of Malcolm X are a juxtaposed dichotomy of mindset. You have the one person that's nonviolent, and then you have Malcolm X, by any means necessary. I lived in Saudi Arabia, so I know a lot about the Islamic faith. And so putting all of that together, it just taught me how human beings had to overcome in order to become. And I was on that journey of overcoming. So I'm still on that journey, right? Therefore, those are the foundational books that made me realize I'm Reggie B, damn it.
So Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and
Jawanza Kunjufu, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu.
Wow. So this book is definitely headed to #1. We know that. I believe that you speak what you want. What does literary success looks like? This is your 3rd book. 3 is an amazing number. One of my favorite numbers. Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. 2 or 3 are gathered. We got a bunch of folks online here. We just gonna claim all of this good stuff. But what does success look like to you? Literary success, right?
So I always just walk the journey and see where I end up. But I guess literary success for me would be that the book helped a lot of people. People purchased the book, they appreciated what they read, and as a result, they learned enough in it to transform them and help them. And then they do the same for other people. So not really the numbers or the money or any of that stuff, but helping people to just become better and get their hustle on and take care of their families. So that's, to me, is literary success for me.
Wow. So if you had, we're at 6:58. I want to be respectful of your time, but as Black folks can go a little long. So I'm just saying, like a preacher. But so I would not want to close this out without giving you an opportunity first to say what you want, a couple of your takeaways, what you hope people get from the book, and then how they can reach you, how they can get you, how they can connect with you.
Okay. So thank you for having me. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you all for joining. Hey, Dwayne. So I really appreciate this opportunity. It's a gift that you have given me, and I don't take it for granted. So thanks, Michelle, GI, my cousin. I would say that, for the book, it's going to take on a life of its own. I've written 2 other ones, and that's just what happens. I never write a book that got sell 1 million copies. The book does what it does, right? And you allow God to do the rest and write the next book, right? And so how to get in touch with me, the easiest way, of course, is just Google my name, Reginald L. Bullock. I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all of those different social medias. You can go to my website, reggiebullock.com, and see my website. So that's that. Now, the takeaway is don't leave no meat on the bone.
Woo! Say it again. Say it again.
Don't leave no meat on the bone.
Wait. How he gonna say that at the end of the interview, y'all? And anybody who's from down south know it is a challenge to eat chicken with a fork and a knife. But I can do it because, I'm refined now. But when I go back home, there's white meat. There is not even the ends on the bone left. I'm eating the bone marrow. I'm eating everything. So when you that's a trigger word. Don't leave no meat on the bone.
I'm also talking about, so a couple of weeks ago, I made collard greens and smoked turkey neck. And everybody know when it comes to that turkey neck, you don't leave no meat on the bone ever. You don't put that thing down. You put that meat down and your aunt looks over at it and like, boy, you better eat that, right? Yeah. So go get me a switch. But the point is, in getting your hustle on and in life, we often don't maximize our 1,440 minutes. And some of us don't even use 50% of it, right? And that's all you get. The difference between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and the rest of these billionaires is, first of all, they are bilateral primate creatures just like the rest of them. However, what they choose to do with their 24 hours is really the only difference in many respects. So they don't leave no meat on the bone. Don't you leave no meat on the bone. Hey, Dwayne. And so get that turkey neck, get that chicken, get that ham hock if you eat some pork, what? And I ain't gonna say the activity, but I will say get that meat off the bone. So that's what I would leave people with. I love that. Yeah, that's what I would leave people with. And internalize who you are as a human being, where you've been, where you are, where you want to go. And if you're not where you want to be, just recognize that you have the power of choice to do anything you want to do and make any decision you want to make and make changes. So some people make New Year's resolutions. All right, well, add that to that. Get your hustle on. Yes. That's it.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, I hope you have enjoyed this. It has been an honor to spend time with a Renaissance man, an amazing servant leader. We have many things in common, not just Air Force, but we're both passionate about leadership and about serving people. But before you go, I do want to say, find him at Reggie. Is it ReggieLBullock.com or Reginald Bullock?
Reggie Bullock, RNEGGIE. I go anyway. ReggieBullock.com. ReggieBullock.com.
Beautiful. And so the other thing I wanted to say is, when we think about being our best self, what does that look like for you as a master hustler, author of It's All About the Hustle? After the 5 more books, one of the top leadership speakers in the world, sought after TED Talk speaker, interviewed on Good Morning America. What does it look like?
The best version of myself at that level, in the words of Mahalia Jackson that my mom used to play on Sundays, if I could help somebody, may my living not be in vain, right? So that's kind of it. May my living not be in vain. That everything I am, who I am, all that I've done.
Yeah.
When I'm gone from this world, may it not have been in vain.
Absolutely.
That is the
Absolutely.
became. That's the became, right? So when you become the best version of yourself, that's one thing. But when I look back on my mother's life and many of my relatives, they became the best version of themselves. And I want to be like them when I grow up. Like my Aunt Trudy, 94 years old, right? And so she's still becoming the best version of herself. So, to me, it's esoterical, but it's reality of my passion and motivation for doing this. I think that's
it comes
it.
through.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm good, right? I'm
You are
sliding
good.
into home,
You
I'm
good.
sliding into home base, and I'm done, right?
You are good.
That was a good ride. That was a good
Yes.
ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father said something to me that I have never forgotten, and he said, "Leave deep footprints everywhere you go." And he didn't mean walk heavy on top of people. What he meant was they should know that you were there. You did something that impacted people, that they know that you were there. And I want to say, Reggie, I believe this book is going to leave deep footprints. We will know that you were there. You
Thank
have
you.
made all of us step up our game, including me. And I hope you'll come back. This is the first time. So for those of you where this is your first time, this is the GI Factor, hashtag TGIF. Follow Reggie. It's on the screen,
Thanks, Bill.
reginaldbullock.com.
Thanks, Bill.
And, if you know a veteran leader, author that I should interview, send me a DM. But in the meanwhile, it has been my absolute honor to just spend time. And even just the prep time coming up to this has been amazing. And let's do it again. Anytime you can come on and we can co-interview. But I can't wait for the next one. I hope you'll knock on the door and when the album comes out and when the next book comes back and we'll see you right back here. I don't know when we're going to do the next one. I'm thinking once a month because y'all know my hands are full, but I'd love to get some more powerhouse folks like Reggie on here. So welcome to the suggestions. Reggie, I'm going to give you the last word. We're over by 6 minutes, but I believe 7:07 is a purpose. 7 is a number of purpose. So I'm going to let you go ahead.
I'll keep it short. I just want to thank God, you, and everybody who joined because it wouldn't be possible without that trio. And blessings to you all. Be well.
Thanks. And it's been an awesome time. Everybody have a happy holiday. Be blessed. Be safe. Check in on people because, this is a difficult time for folks. And keep your hustle going. And we'll talk to you later. GI signing out. Reggie, blessings, brother. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye.